Hello, everyone, fellow dissectors. Welcome back to the course. Now you should have it. Your guest should have installed. Probably once it installed, It probably might have popped up already. But if not, mine popped up and I exited out. But now I'm clicking on it again. I'm opening it up, and we have our macOS guest here. Now we are going. In this section, we are going
Use
to go
English as the main
through.
language.
Uh,
Press the return key.
We'll just hit that. Yeah, that's the automatic voice setup for this. So if you ever like set up a MacBook before or anything, when you first got your MacBook or your iMac, this is what will probably open up when you open up the device. So just kind of like that, if you've ever done that before, this is kind of like what we're going to go through, or what you would go through on the actual machine. However, now we're going through this on the virtual machine as well, so of our guest OS. So for this one, this is like the base setup here. So we're going to go with obviously English. For me, it's English. Whatever language for you, that is fine. Choose the appropriate language that's good, that works for you. So we're going to go with English. And should let us go through here. The nice little colorful circle. And for me, it's United States. Select the country that works for you. We'll hit continue. English, US, yes, this is all good. Hit continue. You can customize it if you want, whatever works best for you, wherever you're from in the world, for me, this all works out, so I'm going to hit continue. And accessibility. I mean, you could just say not right now, but for me, I kind of like to go through just to check. I don't need the voiceover, so we'll hit continue. I will do that because I might need that. The zoom, hover over text. Now, if you need these things, by all means, select them. For me, I don't need them because this is, like I said, this is just our virtual machine we're going to be launching malware on, so I don't really need anything fancy. The mouse, that works for me, so I'll hit continue. It doesn't really matter for me. Again, I'm just hitting continue. Now this part, I definitely want it. I like dark mode. Whatever mode you like, you can do it like this too, where it auto switches it up. But for me, I like dark mode, so that was probably the main one where I was. That's why I went through this to get that. That is fine. Now we go through motor, turn on accessibility keyboard, the on-screen keyboard that allows you to type and interact with your computer without using. I mean, you can select that if you want. For me, I don't need that. No, that's fine. Test screen flash, don't really need that. For me, dark mode, already had that. I don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. And now we hit continue again. And this is the data privacy. If you want, you could go through this. I'm not going to go through this. Again, we're launching malware on here, possibly, and dissecting it. So it doesn't really matter. But it's always good to read these things. We'll just hit continue. So on this part, we are going to hit not now because this is a virtual machine. We're not really transferring anything from the Mac, and we're not really transferring anything for Windows. But again, this is kind of like if you were doing this with like, if you had like recently for me, I had like a Dell or regular laptop, and then I wanted to go to, I bought this MacBook, so when I went through my migration assistant, I did something like from a Windows PC. But for me, actually, I ended up just saving all my stuff on a hard drive and putting it on, so I didn't really need to do any of these. But again, that's for an actual device. This is a virtual machine, so we can just say not now. And for the Apple ID, because we are launching malicious software on here, malware, we do not want, obviously, to be signed into our Apple ID, your own personal ID. So please do not use that. I would highly suggest for this one, we're just going to set up a local user on our virtual machine, our macOS guest. So what you want to do for this, and even if if it was your, let's just say you have a new MacBook and a personal device, if you don't even want to have it attached to your Apple ID, where you don't have like Apple like collecting your data, or like the iCloud stuff. I mean, that's all good if you want it, but if you don't, you can always select setup later, and we'll just set up like an actual like local user on the account that's not an Apple ID related. So kind of like just like with your PC, like if you don't go through Microsoft, you can do like a normal user on the computer system. So for here, are you sure? Yes, we are sure. We want to skip this. Now this is in the terms and conditions. You can have fun going through all that if you want to. I am probably not going to go through that right now just to save time. So I'm just going to hit agree. Yes, I have read. Nah, not really, I didn't read, but yes, I will hit agree. And then for this one, because, this is our, just to kind of keep things organized here, we can just do, I'm going to do ammob from the name of our course. Ammob, I'm going to put, I'll put ammob mx. So for malwarexology, for my company. But for me, I'm just going to do ammob mx. You can actually do the first initial and your last initial of your name, or you could do something else, whatever you want. I'm just going to do that. Ammob mx. You could do ammob and then like your first initial or something you like. You could put number 2, whatever you want here. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Again, we are launching malware on this lab, so it doesn't matter. Password, we're just going to do password. I know. So basic, so normal, not that secure. I know you're probably thinking, Andrew, why would we do that? Well, because we are launching malicious specimens. We don't need it secure. We just we needed something easily rememberable so we can get in, and you're launching malware on this, so it doesn't have to be super secure, and that's all. We don't need a hint. I mean, if you want a hint you can, but again, it's just password. So we'll hit continue. Now this is like the normal computer account if we don't want to do Apple ID, so that's good. It will take a little bit of time, not too much, so I'll just stay on while this is going here. But yeah, this is for setting up a virtual machine. It's kind of like the same thing as you would go through if you get like a new MacBook. So enable location services, no. For our own privacy sake, no, we don't need that. Yes, we are sure. Do not use. I like how it always double checks. That's good at least. For me, I'm gonna put New York because I'm Eastern Standard Time. Put whatever time zone you are in the world. I like this little map that Apple does too, so that's pretty cool. And we will hit continue there. We do not need to share our analytics because, again, this is a virtual machine. We can hit continue. You can share your Linux if you want. Weekly reports. We can just set up screen time, passcode, content, privacy restrictions, get insights about. We can just do set up later. We don't need Siri. If you want Siri, you can, but we don't need it for this. So we'll just hit continue. And voila, you have your base setup of your macOS guest. Thank you for, going through that. I know it wasn't, promise you it's not as, it's not that crazy, but I know it's not like the most exciting stuff, but it's good. Now you have experience setting up, going through that setup, so whenever you get like a new MacBook or anything, and now you went through it with a virtual machine, so that's the benefit of it. So in the next section, I'm looking forward to that, where I will actually go through some safety measures, because this whole section is all about safety, setting up a safe lab, not only just setting up our lab, our virtual machine, but also setting up a safe one. So I'll briefly go through that and explain that, and then we will implement that. So basically isolating our guest. But first, I am gonna explain it, and then I will put the tools on there. We'll need the network, so I'll put the tools on there first, and then we'll isolate this virtual machine. So thank you for joining me for this part where we just went through the basic setup of our macOS guest. In the next section, we will go through. I will just quickly, briefly explain and teach you about isolating your virtual machine, your macOS guest, because we are going to be launching potentially malicious software on there. So any kind of damage or anything, it doesn't leak out into your network. It's all within our own home lab, our own safe, isolated environment, and that's what we want. That's probably one of the most important steps for. I mean, there's a lot of other important steps, but that is like the important step for you to do, because I do not want you to mess up anything. And it's a bit of a disclaimer because we were working with malicious samples. So yes, but I'll go through that in the next section. Thank you for doing this one. You're doing a great job so far, and I will see you in the next section where I will teach you and go through isolating your macOS guest, and then we will set up our tools. Then we will isolate it and go from there. All right, thank you, and see you in the next section. Stop.